We're back on another Eagles Now Wednesday. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, as always, I greatly appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. Jake Chipper along for the ride on the ones and twos, and the Bird Gang rocking and rolling with us from every pocket of America and worldwide. Another loaded show on the Eagles Now rundown here. Going to explain how Philadelphia got a pretty big break with their schedule. Ron Jaworski, Eagles great, compared Quinyon Mitchell to who? Howie Roseman really did this, and we'll round out with the mailbag. Start getting those questions in right now by using the hashtag Eagles, or you can send in a super chat. We did cover some injury news a little bit earlier today pertaining to Eagles pass rusher Bryce Huff. Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer breaking this news this morning that Huff will undergo a procedure on his wrist on Thursday. According to NFL sources, Nick Sirianni met with the media today, and he confirmed that news. That was the injury that Bryce Huff had suffered during the warm-up session prior to taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's why Bryce Huff only played 6 snaps in that game. He's had a club on his hand the last couple of games. So the expectation is that he's going to get surgery, and then he will rejoin the Eagles for the stretch run toward the end of the year. We have 69 people watching live. You love to see it. I want to know and see where you're watching from. We're emanating live from Studio H in the Chat Sports Studios, but where are you? Let's give some shout-outs to the people. Great to see Angela G in the building. Go Birds is in Philly. Mary Masterson saying what up. Don Ackerley, Chase the man. What up, Don? King Javier, I see you in there as well. Dragon, what's up from Serbia? Don is in Tennessee. Cash Owner, Rochester, New York. Diego G, throwing those eagle emojis in there. King Javier rocking with us from York, Pennsylvania. Paul, don't call him Phil Collins, Virginia. Near Toronto, Canada from Joe Masasi. What's up from Brisbane from Frank Vakalahi? All right, Lakin Vakalahi. On the Eagles practice squad, an Australian legend. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. We always love when the Aussies tune in, especially a friend of the program. It was good to exchange some emails with Frank back a couple of months ago when the Eagles discovered Lakin Vakalahi, and then we talked about him here on the show. A developmental project for this Eagles team. Hopefully the next Jordan Mailata. Go Birds saying F the Los Angeles Rams. You love to see that. As far as our Super Chat battle here, our duty today, our goal is to take down some NFC East rivals. Earlier this week, the Cowboys report went live. They did $115 in Super Chats. Giants now $105. Here on Eagles Now, can we beat that number? A Super Chat pretty much like a tip that you're sending a bartender. If you want to support the program, goes a long way in supporting everything that we do. We do want to get those questions in, and we want to get your questions answered. So start submitting them right now by using the hashtag Eagles in the comment section. You have a question. You have a hot take. You have some analysis that you want to pass along. Get that into the comment section right now. And if you're ready to talk some Eagles, I am. Chip is. We have 3 segments coming your way. Well, I need everybody to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video right now. I told you this is the Worldwide Eagles channel. People watching from Canada, people watching from Australia, all across America. We have Dragon who's watching from Serbia. How cool is that? So the more likes that we get, the more people that we can bring in here from across the globe. All right, loaded show on the docket. Let's get it underway on this Wednesday, November 20th. Hey there, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, and here's what's coming up. The Philadelphia Eagles got a big break with their schedule. Who is the quarterback of the Eagles secondary, according to defensive coordinator Vic Fangio? And Ron Jaworski, an Eagles great, one of the top quarterbacks in the history of this organization, compared Quinyon Mitchell to a Hall of Fame cornerback, and that might surprise you. Who is it? We'll tell you. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we're glad that you're hanging out here on today's episode of Eagles Now. Topic number 1, Eagles got a big break. What do I mean by that? Let's dissect it. So Philadelphia will go on the road and take on the Los Angeles Rams. Sunday Night Football, Week 12, kickoff set for 8:20 p.m. Eastern, 5:20 p.m. Pacific, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California, in the shadows of Los Angeles. The Eagles, 3-point favorites in this game, and the over-under set at 49.5. Philadelphia here has a little bit of a schedule edge. First of all, the Birds are coming off a mini bye, having played against the Commanders and beating Washington, their NFC East rival, on Thursday Night Football. So they have a few extra days of rest prior to traveling across the country to take on Los Angeles. The Rams might be home, but last week in Week 11, they played on Sunday, and they traveled all the way across the country to Foxborough in a win against the New England Patriots. And a large percentage of fans will be Eagles fans at SoFi Stadium. I did my due diligence as the host of this program, and I reached out to Vivid Seats for their fan forecast. And I got a great response from Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats ticket marketplace data found that when the Eagles went to SoFi Stadium in Week 5 of last year, the average ticket price was $290, making this weekend's matchup 10% more in demand. Overall, the Eagles-Rams matchup trending as the second hottest NFL ticket this weekend, with an average price of $318 and the best deal being $190. Fans are traveling 396 miles on average to catch the Eagles take on the Rams at SoFi Stadium during primetime. And how about this? Vivid Seats tells me that 52% of the crowd will be rocking midnight green and Kelly green. So it is going to be loud, favoring Philadelphia with this game, home away from home for the Birds. Routinely, visiting teams with a rabid fan base have been able to take over SoFi Stadium. The Eagles have one of, if not the best traveling fan base in the NFL. And it's a worldwide and countrywide fan base. So many Eagles fans are already living in Los Angeles, and a lot of people who are in Philadelphia trying to escape the cold climate, head out to California, have some fun, and catch the Birds take on Los Angeles. So there's that, but we're not done. You look at the Eagles' schedule here. Week 12, on the road against the Rams. Week 13, on the road against the Ravens, but Baltimore not far from the city of brotherly love. Week 14, the Eagles will return to the friendly confines of Lincoln Financial Field and take on one of the worst teams in the NFL in the Carolina Panthers. Difficult game awaits. Week 15 against Pittsburgh. That defense is for real. I think the Steelers sneakily are a contender in the NFC. And then the final three games. Close game against the Commanders as far as distance traveled. Week 17, the Eagles will be at home against the Cowboys, and they stay at home. Week 18 against the New York Giants. Not only can I talk about the Eagles, I can make some pretty cool graphics. And let's pop that graphic up. Obviously, Philadelphia is traveling across the country to Los Angeles to play the Rams outside of LA. This is the last time on the 2024 schedule that the Eagles will have to board a plane after this week because they're taking on the Rams in California. Ravens and Commanders are a bus trip away. And then you have home games against the Panthers, Steelers, Cowboys, and New York Giants. That's a pretty big schedule break because last year the Eagles did have to travel a lot and they had a few rest disadvantages built within that schedule. You look at the NFC playoff picture. This could do wonders for Philadelphia as far as playoff seeding. Right now, they're the number 2 seed behind the Detroit Lions. The Lions, 9-1. Philadelphia, 8-2. You have the Cardinals playing really good football under former Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Number 3 seed, surprisingly. Atlanta Falcons, skidding a little bit, but still leading the NFC South. And then the 3 wildcard teams, Minnesota at 8-2, Green Bay at 7-3, Commanders at 7-4. One of the top games with playoff implications this week, by the way, Packers-Niners at Lambeau Field. That could go a long way in determining a playoff spot as we project down the road. So predict it. What seed will the Eagles be in the NFC? You factor how they're playing right now, how the schedule favors them getting this big break. Let me know down in the comment section right now. So that was topic number 1 here on the show. 2 more topics to get to. Who is the quarterback of the secondary according to Vic Fangio, who's coaching his tail off right now? And then Ron Jaworski compared Quinyon Mitchell to who? Let's get to our sponsor, though, and pay our bills. DraftKings, making today's Eagles now possible, the best sports book in the game. And sports gambling has really taken off thanks to our friends at DraftKings. The app, easy to use. They always have the best odds and the best deals for bettors out there. When you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Here's some more information on that. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. And we naturally look ahead to Eagles-Rams. The Birds 3-point road favorites. The over-under at 49.5. Odds in line, subject to change. Myself and Chip, we host a 76ers channel. That's why the code is SixersChat, the Philadelphia crossover. As for the quarterback of this defense and in that secondary, Vic Fangio calling Reed Blankenship the big leader of that back end. Here's the quote from Fangio. "It's amazing," he said, "how all 3 of Reed Blankenship's picks have looked the same. He's done a good job. He quarterbacks the secondary, leads the communication between them and the linebackers, so he's very, very valuable." Not only has Reed Blankenship been valuable to Vic Fangio on this Eagles defense, but also to the Eagles pocketbooks. His numbers this year, he has legitimately been one of the top safeties in the NFL, and the going rate for his services, very low, and we'll take a look at the salary coming up here thanks to our friends at Spotrac. Overall PFF grade, 79.3. Coverage grade, 73.3. Run defense grade, 85.5. Reed Blankenship has a passer rating when targeted of 61.5, and he has those 3 interceptions, which have all come in clutch spots, and like Vic Fangio noted, have all been the same. Diving picks, playing center field safety, making a beat on the football, coming through with the huge play against Green Bay, against New Orleans, and against Washington. And this goes down as another great Howie Roseman move. Reed Blankenship, playing like one of the top safeties in the game, has a base salary this year under $1 million, $985,000, a cap hit of 1.3. And remember when Philadelphia extended him? Well, they extended him through 2025, and they gave him guaranteed money through the duration of his contract, $1.7 million base salary in 2025, and a $2 million cap hit, set to be an unrestricted free agent after the 2025 season. And Philadelphia got good value on him from the jump because he was a UDFA out of Middle Tennessee in 2022. Topic number 3 on the show here today. Ron Jaworski said what about Quinyon Mitchell? Look, Ron Jaworski was a great NFL analyst back in the day for ESPN. I frankly miss him on the ESPN airwaves. ESPN as a network has gone firmly downhill over the last few years. It's disappointing. That's why what we do is very special. But Jaworski as a player, too, rocking the midnight green. Excellent quarterback, helped lead the Eagles to the Super Bowl all the way back in 1980. They ended up losing that game against the Oakland Raiders. And as far as Quinyon Mitchell goes in the overall numbers, he really is putting together a spectacular year, which led to Jaws saying something very complimentary of him, Quinyon, second in the NFL among all corners in forced incompletion percentage at 23.4%. He is third in forced incompletions in general. Overall PFF grade of 72.5, that's very good, and a coverage grade of 73.2. Honestly, for Quinyon, the numbers, according to PFF, don't back up how good he's been. He's been even better than what the numbers indicate. As far as his passer rating allowed, when targeted, 71.4, and he's giving up a completion rate of 51.1%. And even though he's not getting targeted that much because Guantanamo Bay, he's put other receivers on lockdown, he's still tied for 14th in the NFL in pass breakups with 8. And week by week, he's been getting it done. And week after week, he's been balling out, providing the Eagles with a shutdown corner on the outside, an island corner who can play in zone, he can play man, he makes plays on the football, great instincts, great mechanics as well, with the flip of the hips, the back pedal, the acceleration, the long speed. That 4.3 40-yard dash is certainly translated to the next level. He ran that when we were at the NFL Combine in Indy back in March. But look at this week-by-week production here. He gave up 1 catch for 6 yards against the Packers, 1 catch for 5 yards against Drake London, 2 catches for 23 to Chris Olave, 2 catches for 19 yards to Mike Evans, who has 1,000 yards every year that he's been in the NFL, going on a decade-long run there. Amari Cooper, 1 catch for 10. Malik Neighbors, welcome to the NFL as well. 1 catch for 9. Jamar Chase, he's put up stupid numbers this year. Against Quinyon Mitchell, 2 grabs for 19. Against the Jags as a team, Quinyon giving up 1 catch for 11. C.D. Lamb, 2 catches for 14. And Terry McLaurin, he pitched a shutout like Roy Halladay at Citizens Bank Park way back in the day. As for what Jaw said about him, my immediate reaction was Deion Sanders. The hip turn, the head movement. It was just reminiscent to me in a flash of Deion Sanders. I know that is pretty high company, but that's what I saw. That's what Ron Jaworski said after watching some Quinyon tape. And his RAS score, thanks to Math Bomb and the pre-draft process, I remember being in Indianapolis, providing all of you with some great content while at the NFL Scouting Combine. Quinyon Mitchell was my number 1 corner going into the Combine. And then I watched him run a 4.33 40-yard dash, and I said, yeah, he's my number 1 corner. And I really want the Eagles to take him, and I want Philadelphia to make him their first corner taken in the first round since Lito Shepherd, all the way back in 2002. Now, the green, all elite numbers here, as the Math Bomb scores are judging athletes on a scale of 0 to 10. So Quinyon earned a 9.75 relative athletic score grade. Very good. The height, 6 feet, not bad. Really good vertical. That's that short area quickness and explosion. But look at the 10-yard split. Look at the 20-yard split and the 40-yard dash. All elite right there, and we have seen that translate. And the ball skills from Toledo translate. 44 pass breakups his last 2 years in college. All he's done at the NFL level is make plays on the football. A reminder, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so here on Eagles Now for the most informative, insightful, thought-provoking Eagles coverage right here on the internet. And be sure to give me a follow on social media. I'm on X at Chase_Senior and Instagram at Chase_Senior as well. Good stuff, everybody. Segment number 1 in the books. Angela G. sending in a $2 super chat saying, have a blessed Thanksgiving, everyone. Little prayer emoji, little turkey, little heart. We love you too, Angela G. Hope that you continue to feel better. Who's going to be the next person who's sent to Guantanamo Bay from Carol Hosey? Carol Hosey always sending in some love in the comment section. Carol, can you say that again and use the hashtag Eagles? I also saw like PS2 asking me what my record prediction is going to be for the Eagles. Use the hashtag Eagles so that you can be a part of our show. Our super chat battle for today. Can we beat some NFC East counterparts and rivals? The Cowboys report earlier this week. They did $115 in super chats. Giants now, 105. Eagles now, we want to beat that number, so let's get it. A reminder for our mailbag, that'll be 2 segments from now. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat.
Doing okay on questions. Cool Rains.
All right.
PP Suck asking about the final record prediction.
Okay,
so there we go.
PP Suck. Got it. All
Trey
right.
and Dragon asking questions.
Andrew Nathan, mailbag? You already know, son.
Come on, man.
Here's the prompts right here. We're bringing the heat. Philly, Philly. City of Champions. Let's get it.
Shout out Eric Camper.
Eric Camper. I bought a custom jersey 27 saying Quintana. That's actually electric. That is electric. Carol Hosey. Carol always knows what to do. Always a real one, always a legend. That's good stuff. As for some Eagles injury news, Jalen Hurts limited today in practice with an ankle injury. He told reporters it's part of a, let's use the verbiage here, mini program for his lower body because today was a strength and conditioning day for the lower body in order for him to be healthy for the stretch run, and he'll fully practice the next 2 days. Who's ready to move on to segment number 2? If you are, type real one. Who's ready for segment number 2? Type real one. First one to do it gets a shout out. Who's ready for segment number 2? It's Cool Rains. We have a couple of Aussies in here. Frank Vakalahi, Cool Rains, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Right on forward to segment number 2. An insane hit rate for Eagles general manager Howie Roseman. That's what we're talking about on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and as always, thank you so much for supporting the show. And no matter where you are or how you're locked in, thank you so much for watching. Coming up, Howie Roseman was really able to pull this off over the last 4 NFL drafts. Stay tuned because it might blow your mind. Before we begin, we are shooting for 92,000 subscribers right here on the largest independently run Eagles channel on YouTube. So many competitors out there, but we are number 1 as far as the largest audience. And as you can see, we're 419 people away from that number. Can we get there prior to Sunday's Sunday Night Football game against the Los Angeles Rams? If you want Eagles coverage every single day from yours truly, be sure to hit that sub button. Diehard Eagles fan, lifelong Eagles fan, and of course, T for Temple U. We bleed Philly. Howie Roseman's path. A really fascinating professional developmental story for the Eagles general manager, especially with how he came up in the industry, how he got his start, how he was exiled out of the building pretty much by Chip Kelly, and how he returned with a vengeance. He got his start in professional football during the Andy Reid regime, all the way back in 2000 at the start of the century as a front office intern. The Eagles are literally the only organization that he's ever known. In 2001, 2002, he was the salary cap staff council member. In 2003, all the way through 2005, the director of football administration. The following 2 years, 06-07, the VP of Football Administration. 2008-2009, the Vice President of Player Personnel. So a slow uptick and climb for the Eagles general manager here. In 2010 through 2014, he was named and remained the Eagles general manager. Then Chip Kelly basically ousted him as the team's GM, sent him to the other side of the building, and he was no longer the GM. Now, from 2015 through 2024, he was the executive vice president of football operations, but he was stripped of that general manager title, and then he kind of gained it back thanks to Jeffrey Lurie. And during that same stretch, to a certain degree, from 2019 through 2024, the executive vice president still, but then after a few years of not being the GM, he got those GM duties back. And when Howie tried to get his start in professional football, he was known when he was at Florida for being this football mind who lived and breathed football. He really wanted to work in the NFL. And this goes back even as early as to his high school days when he sent letters to every NFL team while he was in high school saying that he wanted to be in a front office someday and become a general manager. His job inquiries, tough word, got him in touch with Mike Tannenbaum, now on ESPN as an NFL analyst, former general manager. At the time, He was the personnel director for the New York Jets. He then interviewed with Mike Tannenbaum, didn't get the job out of Florida. Luckily, he got the job with the Eagles, and he's never left this organization. And honestly, I hope that he never does. That right there is pursuing your passion. That right there is never being denied, just refusing to be denied, and working your way up in the business. A lot of us can relate. I haven't done something like that in broadcasting, but my broadcasting path has been very similar, right? High school announcements at Bayard Rustin High School. I was the sports anchor. Then I went to Delaware County Community College. Went to Millersville for 2 semesters. I was on air there doing radio, television. At Temple, radio, television, newspaper writing, anchoring, reporting, play-by-play, interning at NBC Sports Philadelphia, 97.5 The Fanatic, moved out to Illinois, moved to Pennsylvania. Now I'm here in my dream job at Chat Sports. When you are working toward a goal, you have to be relentless in that pursuit to achieve your dreams, but to also be great. And Howie Roseman's been on that path, and a lot of you watching the show have embarked on that path. And as a general manager, like any general manager in the history of football, Howie Roseman has had some misses in the draft, he's had some misses in free agency, but he's been able to fleece teams on trades. He's been able to have hits in the draft and in free agency. He has become a salary cap genius. That's how he got his start with Philadelphia as an intern way back when. And he's improved with his eye for talent. Because from 2021 through 2024, Howie Roseman had 13 picks in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, and his hit rate is phenomenal. And that hit rate is why the Eagles are where they are right now. Where in 2017, they made it to the Super Bowl and won it. In 2022, they made it back to the Super Bowl, nearly won it. And this year, they are once again Super Bowl contenders. From a roster construction and talent standpoint, the Eagles are who they are, mostly because of Howie Roseman and his eye for talent and his team-building strategy. So with those 13 picks in the first 3 rounds, here are Howie's hits and every single selection that he's made in those first 3 rounds. DeVonta Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens. Nakobe Dean, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen, Sidney Brown. Yo, that hit rate's crazy, but we're not done. 3 more. This draft in 2024 looks to be a good draft class. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt. A bulk of those players, almost all of them are starters. Almost all of them are contributors for this team right now. And coming up next, I have thoughts on each of those players that Howie Roseman was able to bring into this organization, so stay tuned for that. But speaking of the aforementioned Cooper DeJean, these shirts are going off the shelves like crazy. The Cooper DeJean shirts. I love how when Cooper DeJean drops back for a punt or makes a play on defense, you hear the cheers of Coop at Lincoln Financial Field. Surely we'll hear those cheers at SoFi Stadium against the Rams as well. Get your shirts today, chatsports.com/DeJean, available in Kelly Green as well as black. So we went through that list, right? And let's go through it player by player here. DeVonta Smith, he's one of the top number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. He's capable of being a number 1 wide receiver on many other teams, and Philadelphia has already signed him to a contract extension. Landon Dickerson, one of the best left guards in football, a road grader, so physical, taking on leadership duties. He has addressed the team with these team huddles pregame, getting the troops fired up. He is a brotherly shove extraordinaire. He, too, got a lofty contract extension. At the time, highest paid guard in the NFL in terms of average annual value at $21 million per season. Milton Williams, he has developed into a very good rotational defensive tackle. He has starter potential. He can start on this team, but the Eagles are pretty deep at defensive tackle. This year, contract year, 4th in sacks on the team, and he might be difficult to retain if he keeps playing like this because another team might want him as a starter. Jordan Davis, I'd say the jury is still out on him. Is he a 2-down player? Is he a 3-down player? But of note, Vic Fangio said this week, He's getting better, making plays against the pass as a pass rusher and against the run as a run stuffer. The ability is there. He just has to put it together. Cam Jurgens, it is not easy to replace a City icon and legend and Eagles icon and legend in Jason Kelce. That's like replacing Derek Jeter for the New York Yankees, right? But Cam Jurgens has been able to step in. He's played at a great level, and with his style of play, he plays a lot like Jason Kelce. Athletic, getting out in space on those pull blocks. Very few negative plays. He's given up 0 hits of Jalen Hurts, and he's surrendered 3 sacks according to Pro Football Focus. Nakobe Dean, what a player he's developed into. Now, his first couple of years in the NFL, up and down play, some injuries, but the Eagles' 6-game winning streak has really coincided with Nakobe Dean's really good play and vice versa. Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, they have ended up being one of the top linebacker duos in the NFL, and they've really given this team sound play at that second level. Jalen Carter, one of the top defensive tackles in football. He is in that category right now with Chris Jones of the Chiefs, Dexter Lawrence of the New York Giants, Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans, DeForest Buckner of the Indianapolis Colts. Jalen Carter is a dominant player, and he is a disruptor. If he keeps his head on straight, he has all-time great potential. Reminds you a little bit of Jerome Brown with the freakish ability that he has at that size. Nolan Smith, he's having a breakout sophomore campaign, and with Bryce Huff getting hurt, I expect his snap count to go up a little bit. 3.5 sacks in his last 6 games. Turns 24 years old in January. When he turn on an Eagles game nowadays, he's an impact player. Tyler Steen, year 2, up and down start, got beat out by Mekhi Becton, dealing with some ankle injuries during training camp and in the preseason. Becton ended up playing very well, and he earned that role due to how he performed. But Tyler Steen has been thrust into action this year. Right guard, left guard. He's played very well when he's been thrust into that duty. Sidney Brown, we saw some flashes last year as a rookie, and then he tore his ACL. Right now, he's a very valuable special teamer, gives the Eagles some depth at that safety spot. Quinyon Mitchell, not only is he the best rookie corner in this 2024 draft class, he's one of the top corners in the National Football League. Second highest forced incompletion percentage in the NFL, tied for 14th in pass breakups, and an excellent coverage corner. Cooper DeJean, he might be the second best corner in this class behind his teammate in Quinyon Mitchell. And Jalen Hunt, too early to say, but he's gotten some snaps as of late. He's played under 50 defensive snaps so far this year. A converted safety, though. He's playing safety at Cornell. He goes to Houston Christian, turns into an edge rusher, and could be a diamond in the rough type of prospect for Howie. He took him in the 3rd round. And the jury is out on him because he's also a young player. But with Bryce Huff being hurt, expect to see number 58, the rookie Jalen Hunt, on the field a little bit more as a pass rusher. So those are 13 players right there that Howie has hit on in the last few drafts from 2021 up until 2024 who are impact players for the Eagles team. Which of those picks by Howie is your favorite? Joe Lord, Chase and Chip, excited to possibly see more Jalex. Dude, right on cue. Literally just got done saying that. Right on cue. Andrew Nathan, good question. We'll include that in the mailbag, which is coming up next.
You heard it, baby. Mailbag coming up next. Last chance. Get those questions in.
Get those questions in, as Chip said. Eagles Wednesday practice report. Did not practice Bryce Huff, Jalen Hunt ankle, DeVonta Smith hamstring, Milton Williams foot, limited, Nakobe Dean groin, Jalen Hurts ankle. He does expect to be a full participant the next 2 days. A full participant, wide receiver Britton Covey with the shoulder. We'll see if he ends up being the team's punt returner or Cooper DeJean, because both are good.
Remember, if you want your question to be answered at the start of the mailbag, send in a super chat, just like Joe Lord did. We will get that question in at the beginning of the mailbag. But we're going to start here in a couple minutes. So last chance to get some questions in. We could use a couple more if you haven't asked one yet. There's Dragon getting another one in.
Dragon, good stuff. Carol Hosey, Jalix is sneaky good. I liked what I saw in the preseason. Also making some plays in coverage, dropping back as a outside linebacker.
Oh, no. I don't know where... Oh, never mind. I see it. I thought I lost PP Sucks question. It's still in here. It's still in here. Hashtag Eagles, baby. Send in a super chat.
Let's do it. Hashtag Eagles or super chat. Last call for our mailbag.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into it.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Start to answer your questions here live on the program. Joe Lord, $5 super chat. D has been superb. Thoughts on Cup Nakua, Guantanamo Bay / Slay. 10th ever super chat for Joe Lord. We'll include that in the mailbag, which is about to get cranking right now. Carol Hosey, Chase, you should have picked my dogs last weekend over Tennessee like Chip did. I thought Tennessee was going to win. They go up 10-0. It was looking good for the Vols, and then credit to Georgia. They stormed back. I was watching that game, watching the UFC. John Jones with the dub. MSG. All right, mailbag coming up right now. Let's get it. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend coming up here on the show. We're going to take questions from our real ones and our loyal subscribers who are tapped into the program here on Eagles Now. And if you haven't subscribed, you ain't alive. If you haven't watched one of our watch parties, you got to join the movement here. We'll be live so you can see for yourself for some Sunday night football here in Week 12. Eagles on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Birds have not lost to the Rams in Los Angeles since the 1970s. And I reached out to our friends at Vivid Seats, and they told me that 53% of the fans at SoFi Stadium on Sunday are going to be Eagles fans. If you can't go to the game, join us for our watch party. Pre-game show, during the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, instant reaction. We'll ride that wave together. After the game, we'll do a post-game show, and of course, some super chat giveaways for some legends out there who want to donate to the program. Joe Lord gets us started with the $5 super chat as we open up the floor and chop it up as a family. The defense has been superb. Thoughts on Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua against Guantanamo Bay and Darius Slay. Bay and Slay. I like how you rhyme that. Yeah, the defense has been fantastic during the 6-game winning streak. They have been just so excellent, and it's really mind-blowing how good they're playing as compared to last year. They couldn't get off the field on third downs. They couldn't get stops in the red zone. They were giving up explosive plays. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't pressure the quarterback. They couldn't do anything well. Vic Fangio comes in and changes that, especially during the 6-game winning streak where Philadelphia is giving up under 13 points per game. They have given up a total of 4 touchdowns during the 6-game winning streak. They forced 11 turnovers the last 4 games. They're really sound at all 3 levels. They're flying to the football. They are tackling well. And so it's a great development that the Eagles defense has been as good as they've been, led by some young marquee players. And hopefully this core group going to be together, stay healthy for a very long time. As for the matchup, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay against Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Let me throw Cooper DeJean in there as well, right? Because Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, they can run routes out of the slot. And that's going to be the territory for Cooper DeJean. So I throw Quinyon, Slay, and DeJean in that mix. It's going to be a really good matchup. This Rams offense, you think about Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams, an improved offensive line, Kupp, Nacua. They've underperformed a little bit. Part of that is because Matthew Stafford's a little bit up and down. A lot of that is due to injuries. But the Rams are hot just like the Eagles are hot. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. And so I'm very intrigued and excited to see how the young corners match up against Kupp and Nakua, how Darius Slay plays as well, and how this Eagles defense plays on the road against one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Braylon Rodriguez and top offensive minds in the NFL in Sean McVay. The Eagles have a good chance to go to the Super Bowl if they keep playing like this and beat the Lions. Go Eagles. Yeah, so the Lions are a really good team, and they really broke out last year when they made it to the NFC Championship game. They were up 17 points against the Niners on the road before San Francisco really stormed back and won that game in stunning fashion. And going into this year, I really like the makeup of that Lions organization. Their GM, Brad Holmes, has done a terrific job in compiling talent. Dan Campbell, like Nick Sirianni, a CEO type of head coach who's a good motivator and culture builder. You don't just have to be a play caller to be a quality coach in the NFL. And then they're really talented. They needed to get better at corner. They've been able to do that. They certainly miss Aiden Hutchinson, but they make the trade for Zadarius Smith. They're built in a lot of ways like Philadelphia on the offensive line. One of the top offensive lines in the game. Really good running game, too, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. That 1-2 punch is excellent. Jared Goff has played really well this year. If he has to go on the road in a playoff game in January and it's cold, his home road splits, indoor-outdoor splits, they are drastically different. And that's why it's important for Philadelphia to try to get the number 1 seed. Because right now, it's kind of the Eagles and the Lions who are on this collision course to meet in the NFC title game. I think so far they've been the top teams in the NFC. If Philadelphia has to go on the road to Detroit, it's going to be loud, going to be raucous. They can win there. They're the more experienced team. But if the Lions have to come to Philadelphia, I just don't fear Jared Goff all that much. But that Lions team, certainly legit. But this Eagles team, legit as well. Joe Lord, $2 super chat. Chase and Chip. Excited to possibly see more Jalix Hunt. Yeah, so with Jalix Hunt out, with Bryce Huff out with that wrist surgery, he's going to rejoin the Eagles' best case scenario for a stretch run. Jalix Hunt's going to get some more snaps. He's played under 50 snaps so far this year. The Eagles clearly liked him in taking him in the 3rd round as a developmental edge rusher in the preseason. I liked what I saw. He has some physicality to his game, was able to get to the quarterback. He honestly made some plays against the run and dropped back in coverage as an outside linebacker. That really impressed me. So you'll see more from Jalix Hunt. You should ask more from Nolan Smith as far as snaps go. He has 3.5 sacks over his last 5 games. He's really started to turn the corner. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, they've played very well for this Eagles team. The loss of Bryce Huff definitely hurts the Eagles' depth, though, at that edge rusher spot. Andrew Nathan, Chase, are you worried about our passing offensive struggles? Do you think that they can get back on track on Sunday night? So the Eagles are 16th in passing DVOA this year, and that's a little bit low, middle of the pack squarely in the NFL among 32 teams. And when you have A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, yeah, it's fair to ask Jalen Hurts to play a little bit better and to throw the football a little bit better, and for this Eagles passing offense to be a little bit better. Now, you can also make the argument they haven't been able to find as much of a rhythm because they're more of a running team, but we've seen it with our eyes. Sometimes Jalen Hurts struggles a little bit. Now, in 5 of the 6 games during this winning streak, Hurts has had a passer rating over 100. He's played like an MVP, and he's played very well. And part of his game being a dual threat quarterback, one of the top long balls in the NFL. But he can do a better job getting rid of the ball quicker, being more decisive, being able to see some routes develop in front of him, not taking as many sacks. And so that is a little bit of an issue. That Rams secondary, by the way, to answer your question too, I think the Eagles can attack that secondary, but their defensive line is good, so the Eagles' offensive line will have to hold up in protection. Today's sponsor for our mailbag, DraftKings. Right now, when you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Here's how. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup championship in Vegas. First time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. Some DraftKings odds for Eagles-Rams. The Birds, 3-point road favorites, over-under 49.5. Odds in line, subject to change. And I think when you look at that number, we could see some scoring between two of these high-octane offenses. Next up, nice username, PPSuck_2. Must be a big Darius Slay fan. Or David Akers. Hey, Chase. What is your Eagles' final record for the season, and what other games are we losing? Chip, let's run through the schedule here. I think this could be a fun exercise for the show. We can run through the schedule. So I think the Eagles beat the Rams 9-2. Lose against the Ravens 9-3. Win against the Panthers 10-3. Let's go loss against the Steelers, 10-4, and then 3 straight wins. 13-4 is their record. Win on the road against the Commanders, win at home against the Cowboys, win against the Giants. And obviously, your predictions can change depending on the game, but I think the Eagles can get the 13 wins. The Eagles have fared pretty well against Pittsburgh at home. They could easily win that game, but I'm just trying to come up in my head with another defeat at some point. So I think the Eagles win 13 games, PP Suck. Joe Lord, let's talk Superman, a.k.a. Quadzilla, a.k.a. Thank You Giants. Any concern on the volume he's seeing and his longevity throughout the year? So a lot of people ask this question going into the year. This was my response. You sign him to a 2-year, $26 million guaranteed contract, pretty much. That's what it is. $13 million average annual value. I am running Saquon Barkley so much during the duration of that contract. He looks great. He hasn't lost a step. I think he's holding up very well. I know that he does have a little bit of an injury history. He hasn't missed as much time as what people say. Rookie year, he played all 16 games. 2019, he played 13 of 16. Then he hurt his knee in 2020. 2 games played that year. But then 13, 16, 14, and this year, 10 out of 10. So it's not like he's missed a ton of time. Has he been banged up here and there? For sure. But you see that Saquon Barkley is a physical specimen. And here's hoping that he can continue to play like he's been playing, on this trajectory. He has completely changed the Eagles offense. He is such a great weapon. It's such a fun story considering he signed with Philadelphia, left the New York Giants. And you know what's funny? The difference in the dollars that the Giants didn't want to pay Saquon, they gave that guaranteed money to Drew Lock, and they're not even starting him after benching Daniel Jones. They are starting Tommy DeVito. That is a horse crap organization right there. So am I worried about the longevity? Of course you have to be a little bit concerned, but maybe toward the end of the year when the Eagles are racking up some dubs, they can afford to manage his carries a little bit more, or maybe they can sit him for a game at the end of the year against the bad Giants or the bad Cowboys, and you can get him ready for the playoffs. But right now, Eagles are shooting for that number 1 seed, and they should be, and they need Saquon in order to accomplish that. Carol Hosey, who is going to be next to be sent to Guantanamo Bay? Let's hope that it's Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. I want to see how Quinyon Mitchell matches up against two of the top wide receivers in the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's had some of the top wide receivers in the game on lockdown all year, and he has just been a special, special player this season. Eagles in Racing 9. Is the Eagles' defense and offense winning games better than last year? No doubt about it. I mean, the Eagles' defense, number one overall defense during the 6-game winning streak, they are mountains better than they were a year ago. And this offense is more consistent, more dangerous, more explosive. They could do a better job of starting off faster, and that was an issue last year for sure. But they're wearing teams out throughout the duration of a 60-minute ball game, playing that bully ball. And in the city of Philadelphia, we absolutely love to see that. So this team, a lot better than they were last year, and I don't see them kind of collapsing like they did in 2023 when they lost 6 of their last 7 games. Braylon Rodriguez, $5 super chat. Last question in this sack. Chase, who does your heart tell you is going to the Super Bowl? I think out of the NFC, I do like Detroit and Philadelphia. Out of the AFC, I could see Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore make it. I think a lot of it is going to be matchup dependent. For instance, like, let's say the Eagles get the 2 seed and they have to play the Packers in the first round. Dangerous matchup, man. Really dangerous matchup. What if the Eagles get the Rams? What if the Eagles get the Vikings? What if they get the number 1 seed? And then the NFC has to go through Philadelphia. That improves their chances drastically. But yeah, no, I think a lot of it is matchup dependent, but those are the grouping of teams that I think are true Super Bowl contenders here as we go into Week 12. Don't forget to hit that sub button, year-round daily coverage of the Birds, and you can also be a part of our mailbags here on the show. Brian Weaver, $2 super chat. Pretty sure that's a Saquon Barkley jersey. Thank you, my man. We're up to $21 in supers. $21 in supers. Let's do this. 2-minute super chat shot clock is up. Oh, Mike Persia. He already resets it with the 10. Iconic profile picture with him, too. Jason Kelsey walking off the field. If you want us to extend the show, send in the super chat within 2 minutes. Mike Persia with the 10. Eagles better beat the Steelers or I'll never hear the end of it. Delco, born and raised, living in black and gold country. Go Birds. Delco, yo! Yeah, it's always good to get those Keystone State bragging rights. Steelers are a good team. That defense is for real, for real. Eric Camper. Yes, I do have an Instagram. Chase_senior. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Send it to me. Looking forward to seeing it. You got it already, too. Ahead of the pack, my man. Joe Lord, reset the timer. Yes, sir. The Bowtie Chaplain, you beat the Packers during the regular season. Yeah, for sure. And, it was a neutral site game out in Brazil. Eagles had to fight back from a couple of different deficits, but Packers are good. They can go like 4 deep at wide receiver, 2 deep at tight end. Good running game. Improved defense. Jordan Love is so hot and cold. They're also bad in the red zone. Bowtie Chaplain. You think the Niners are bad in the red zone. Packers are actually worse, which is crazy. Is 8-Ball Paul active tonight? Yes. And Chip will be doing a watch party on 76ers Now. Win. So I hope that you tune in.
Come join. Hey, and Tyrese Maxey might be playing.
Nice.
Game time decision.
Game time decision for Mad Max.
We'll have a pretty short minute restriction if he does play.
Busch Gardens fan. Hey, Chase. Hey, Busch Gardens, a good spot. Eric Camper, send it to me. All right, let's see what you got, Eric. Oh, that's sick. Quintanamo.
Nice.
Number 27. That's good stuff, man. That actually might be a good super chat giveaway for us. A Quintanamo customized jersey. I'm glad you actually sent me the Eagles jersey. I checked my work email earlier today and somebody sent me a porn photo. It's very weird. I don't know what that person was thinking, but I blocked them on email. Joe Lord, $2. Cam Jurgens is a beast. Has AQ Shipley gushing on PMS. Oh, really? That's pretty cool. AQ Shipley, Penn State legend. Joe Lord will pop up that super chat here soon, up to $33 in supers. Joe Lord said, reset the timer. He doesn't want us to go anywhere. All right. We'll reset the super chat shot clock, but it has to be $10 or more. $10 or more. We'll continue to chop it up. You can ask us anything. Lie Win said, see you there, Chip.
Who said that?
Lie Win.
Ah, Lie Win. See you there. Appreciate you.
Joe Lord had to keep you going for an extra 2 minutes. Thanks, homie.
7:45 Eastern, Lie Win, 15 minutes before the game.
Resetting the shot clock. $10 or more. In the meantime, ask us anything.
Absolutely anything.
Does Smitty go over 70 yards in this game? You know, he didn't practice today, and when he left the field on Thursday, had a pretty bad limp. So I'm not going to, put any money on him to go over 70 yards if that's the bet. Detroit has a hard run soon from Cool Rains. They do. Let's take a look at the Lions schedule here. Colts, Bears, Packers, Bills, Bears, Niners, Vikings. So, can they lose 2 or 3 games during that stretch? Niners might be out of it at that point. Vikings will be a tough game. Could be for the division. Bears are fighting for their playoff lives. I think the Colts are legit. They're fighting for their playoff lives this weekend. That game's in Indy.
Still pretty crazy to me. They lost arguably their best player, and they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah. Are you going live on the 76ers report? So 76ers now, King Javier, and Chip will be live in about an hour.
Yep. Come join us.
So he's going to get ready for that stream, and we're going to sign off on this stream. Philly, dilly. For Chip, I'm Chase. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. Plenty of coverage to come out over the next few days and the lead up to Sunday Night Football, Eagles, Rams. Can't wait for it. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.